Hello guys, this is Kasim. So I'll be sharing with you guys if a trade I took on Audchf. So I took the trade on 4 hours time frame, and here is a quick breakdown on why I took the trade. So this was the zone the trade was taken from, the same entry model, which was my type 1 liquidity. And you can see what you have here is what you had here. Let me remove this. This trade was 1:4 RR plus. So this was a high that was swept by what? This protected high, and this guy was my liquidity. So I knew that my liquidity was far, and here you had a break of structure to the downside here, and another break of structure here to the downside. So this was my type 1 liquidity. And I knew that my liquidity was far and I can't take this trade off here. So what did I do? I waited for price to get to this zone, and I waited for what? Candlestick confirmation. So I took the trade off candlestick confirmation, off market execution. So here is when I share the trade with my guys on my inner circle, because every single trade I take, I share it live before it plays out. You can see when I shared the trade, and this was the after of the trade. So the trade, I took the trade took 4 days to hit my take profit. Took the trade on Monday, and my take profit was hit on Thursday. So what was the ideology, or what was the story behind this trade? Simple thing, the trend on the 4 hours time frame was bearish, as you can see. But then again, I don't use only 4 hours for my analysis. I have my bias time frame and my entry time frame. So my 4 hours was my entry time frame on this scenario, and my bias time frame, I went down to the monthly time frame, and on the monthly time frame, I had price what? Breaking structure to the what? Downside. I had this. Then I had this. Then I had this. This low was going to be taken away. You understand? But then again, where price was what? At the what? At the discount zone. If you bring your fib retracement to and measure, you can see that price was at the discount zone. Here is at the premium zone. So at the discount zone, what do? We do what? We buy. At the premium zone, we do what? We sell. Price couldn't get up to the premium zone for us to sell, and it started selling from the discount zone. But then again, if you're a student of mine, you know that countless times I say that it is not all the time price gets to the premium zone before it starts selling, or gets to the discount zone before it starts buying. Some certain factors affect price. It can be an imbalance, which is a fair value gap. It can be a resistance, a major resistance zone, which it tapped on. And there are some things that affect price not to get to certain level before it starts reacting. So what do? We read and react. It is what price gives us at that particular time. That is what we use. So while you're doing your top-down analysis, you want to know, first of all, where is price coming from? Secondly, where is price what? Heading to? So coming to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, you can see this imbalance here. There was an heavy imbalance here, and we had 1, 2, and 3. So the imbalance was here. So price was what? Coming off this fair value gap here, which was an imbalance. So this is where price is coming from. Knowing that price is coming from this imbalance, we knew that this low was in trouble. You understand? Now coming to the weekly time frame, apart from that, price was creating an internal structure to the downside. You can see a break of structure here, another break of structure here, another break of structure here, and there's a high percentage of price taking away this guy. It's as simple as that. Now, if you take a look at this, you will see that we had what? A high that was swept by what? that was swept by what? This what? This protected high here. So this high was swept by this protected high. That is on this weekly time frame. So now let's go down to the daily time frame. On the weekly time frame, you can see that price is creating lower lows and lower highs to the what? To the downside. Now coming to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, let's see what is happening on the daily time frame. So I'm going to be removing all this. On the daily time frame, we had price create what? A low to the downside and another break of structure to the downside. So we have what? Price creating lower lows and lower highs to the downside on the daily time frame. We already know that price is coming from what? This fair value gap, which was on the weekly time frame, this imbalance zone, which was on the weekly time frame. Now, looking at this, you're going to be seeing what? Price was reacting off, price started reacting off this zone. And if you look at this zone, you can see that we had what? A type 2 liquidity, which was this guy as what? A high that was what? Swept by what? This protected high. And we had what? This guy, which was our liquidity, a type 2 liquidity here. So price was coming off this type 2 liquidity. So where do we expect our TP? We expect price to take away this guy. So now we know where price is coming from. You can see this was a break here. So on here, we have something like this. This is a type 2 liquidity. So this is what we have here. And you can see here was what? A break of structure. Here was a break of structure. And this guy was the internal break on the downside. And here was our what? Our liquidity. Simple stop. So that was what we had here. So price took away this liquidity and started dumping. Now look at this zone, price took away. Let me remove this. Look at this zone, price took away this liquidity on the daily time frame. This zone, price took away this liquidity. Price came to 4 hours time frame to start what? Giving what? Confirmation. Price started changing structure on the 4 hours time frame. Price gave the first opportunity. I didn't take this first opportunity because I was waiting for something. I saw the trade. Price gave this high and a protected high that swept what? The previous high, and now gave what? This guy, which is the liquidity. So price came, took away this liquidity because we had a break of structure to the downside, took away this liquidity, and you can see as price continued the same motion. Price continued. So we had this high and we had what? This protected high that was taken out, and here was the new one, which was the liquidity, which I capitalized on. And you can see a break of structure to the what? To the downside. And that was how I took this trade. And this trade what? Gave me what? My 1:4 RR. So I took this trade on Monday and it hit take profit on Thursday. That was the story behind this trade. And you can see when the trade hit take profit, and that was it. So guys, for more content like this, all you need to do is follow us on Instagram, Trade with Cassie. We are also on TikTok, Trade with Cassie. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, also Trade with Cassie. Thank you for watching this video.